Hello, my name is Sofia and this is the walkthrough to OSINT Exercise 014. On my website you can find a number of OSINT exercises to practice your skills. If you have not attempted to solve this one yet, you can find a link in the description and give it a go first. If you're here because you have completed, well done, you should be very proud, this was a bit hard. If you're here because you want to find out how to solve it, I hope you find this video useful. So welcome to OSINT Exercise 014, Task Briefing. The video below was recorded during an earthquake. Please find the answer to the following questions. A. What was the magnitude of this earthquake? And B. What are the coordinates of where the camera was likely located in order to record this scene? Click here to open the video in a new window. So if you click it, you go to YouTube, same thing, but it's just a bit bigger. I have marked this exercise level as for beginners. The first one would be medium. The second is definitely hard. For experts, I would say the first one was probably easy. The second I've marked as medium, but I think it's borderline difficult. So if you felt it was maybe a bit harder than you were expected, that may be it. I wasn't sure if I should go with medium or hard. It was borderline. Okay, so let's watch this video then. I'm going to play it there. This a bit bigger. And honestly, this is it. This is a scene. At some point, it starts shaking because obviously it's an earthquake, but it's 2 minutes of this very specific location. It's not going to change. You're not going to get anything else other than this. So I'm going to pause this. So there's some information here already. You have the date. So you know it was on the 24th September 2016, which landed on a Saturday, and this happened a bit after 2 a.m. This is all very useful, but in order to find out the magnitude of this earthquake, we need to find out where this was filmed. We don't need a specific coordinates yet, but we need a city or the country at least. So there are a few different ways to approach this problem. We could try to find a list of earthquakes that took place in this specific date here and eliminate each location until you reach the correct city. But there is a problem with this plan though. Spoiler alert, this video was not recorded near the epicenter of the earthquake. In fact, this footage wasn't even in the same country where the epicenter was registered. Now the question is, would you be able to establish the magnitude of the earthquake with just this information? Yes. Would you be able to prove it? No. There would always be a margin of doubt if you were to use this strategy, as you would have reached your conclusion through elimination of other possible locations rather than by finding data to sustain your observations. I hope it makes sense, but if it doesn't, allow me to demonstrate. So let's just Google list of 2016 earthquakes, and I have it here. I'm just going to copy from my other screen. It's much faster than trying to type this. There you go. We're going to see a list of them. This is very useful. Let's click the first one. It's probably going to be helpful. So we have a list of the significant earthquakes in 2016. And if you watch the video, you know there's a lot of things shaking. This is definitely a significant earthquake. It was not something small. So you can see from the date format is 2016 dash the month dash the date. So let's search for 09. Which is the month we're looking for, and 20 something. Okay, so we have 5 different results, and we have a few that are on the 23rd and 2 on the 24th. If you're thinking, okay, we can just discard some of them since we know it was on the 24th, but as you may see, this is at 2 a.m. This means that depending on what country was registering this earthquake, it could be before or after midnight. So it could have happened here on this place at 2 a.m. on the 24th, but the country that registered these earthquakes could have still been on the 23rd. So we cannot discard them. So let's do a quick process of elimination so we can find out what is likely the correct answer. The countries on our list are the Fiji, Tonga, Romania, Philippines, and Japan. This is a great list because some of them are just clearly the wrong answer. So I can quickly show you what I mean. Okay, windows next to each other. First, Fiji on our list. Let's check it out. Fiji. This is going to be very fast because honestly, it's quite obvious this is not a Fiji, is it? So let's just drop it, and you can see this kind of area is clearly not this sort of area. So Fiji is the wrong answer. Now let's try Tonga, and we even know what specific area of Tonga because it says there it was how many, I don't know, kilometers of this area. So let's click that one, and off we go. Do the same, just drop it somewhere, and again, beautiful place, absolutely stunning. this again is nothing similar to this. This is not the correct place. So next one in our list is Romania. Let's go to that place in Romania, which is this one, Romania. Okay, that is the place. Here we go. We can drop it and place it there. Okay, so this does not look like the same location that we were looking at here, but this was the registered epicenter. So we have to remember that this earthquake was felt in many places. So let's try the next one on our list. We have Philippines. Need to make this fast because we don't want to spend too much time on this. So okay, so this is the likely location. Here we go again. Again, beautiful. Not our place in any way whatsoever. And lastly is Japan. Super fast, super fast. Katsura, Japan. Okay, so this is the area of Japan. Let's drop our little pegman. And okay, so this is Japan. And if you know anything about Japan, you would know that they have a lot of this. There's always these overhead power lines everywhere. This is very characteristic of Japan, and it is not something we see here. Quite the opposite. There is no lines whatsoever. So from this list, I would say the most likely one is Romania. In fact, I would say that would be a very good guess given the fact that this looks a lot like the typical Eastern European residential building. And let me Google that for you, and we can see what I mean by that. So if you just go to Google again and search for Eastern European residential buildings and check out the images, you'll see what I mean. So this style of building is very characteristic of that region of the globe, and this is what you also see here. This is a very typical residential building. So this is very likely going to be taking place in either Romania or close to Romania. So back to this list again, with the process of elimination, we could establish that the answer to the first question was 5.6. Here it is there. This is the magnitude of the earthquake. But would we be able to prove it? No. And that is a problem. If you cannot prove it, you cannot use it. That's just the rule. So let's try another method. Before we start searching for information, let's think for a second. This video, let me get this bigger again, was published on my YouTube channel. It is very unlikely that I have direct access to a CCTV camera somewhere near Romania. It is much more likely that I found this video somewhere online. So let's try to find the original source, as it might give some extra information I did not provide, which was 100% on purpose. Similarly to images, for videos you can do a video reverse search. I use the InVid browser extension. Here it is. I will link it in the description so you can have it as well. You just click on it and you click the open toolbox, and here you have various options, and we're going to choose the video analysis, and it tells you you can put links to YouTube videos, Facebook videos, or Twitter videos. In this case, we're going to do the YouTube one, and we're going to copy paste this link there, submit it, and that is it. Then we kind of just wait for it, and it'll give us some information. Honestly, we're going to just ignore all of that because we want to scroll all the way down. This is the bit we want. So what is it doing? This tool captures several screenshots of the video, and then we can do an image reverse search of these frames. Alternatively, you can do it yourself by just taking a screenshot of the video, because again, this is the same scene, it's not going to change. You can just screenshot this image and do a normal image reverse search, and you get the same results. So this is just easier, especially in videos that have a lot of scenes. I'm not going to open any of them. You can do it, but this is going to open all of them, and it's way too much. So I'm just going to open this in a new tab. It's going to be small. It does not matter. Google is good. Just go with it. And I'm going to search image with Google, and it will give me some results. And I want to search image source because I want it to give me some information about where the hell did I find this. And the first one, it's a YouTube video. Brilliant, because we're looking for a video. So let's click it and look at that. This is where I got the footage from. It's exactly the same video. It's exactly the same length. This is it. So now we have an additional source of information. We have whatever they wrote. Unfortunately, person wrote absolutely nothing. So you're welcome. But that's fine because they have something there that I did not have on my one, did I? So let's translate this, the text language, and you'll say, okay, this is Romanian. And it tells us this location. So let's go back to Google Maps and we're going to put this location in. Immediately it tells us that this is in Moldova. So we're not in Romania, are we? We are in Moldova. So this is Moldova. This is Romanian. So they do border each other. So it is very likely that the earthquake that took place here would have been felt here as well. So now, in order to take a step forward in this verification process, we're going to go here and we're going to get this word and we're going to search for, let me go back, don't need that anymore, 2016, because this is the year of this earthquake. And we're going to try to find information from the Moldovan government, which I'm assuming is going to be fairly reliable. The second website on our list says Mold Press, which I'm assuming is going to be something from the government, Moldovan press release perhaps. So we click on it and we're going to try to find out some more information. You can see it was published on the correct date, so we are good so far. Let's change this to English so we can all read. This is the state news agency, so this is likely a very reliable place to get information. And indeed, it tells us that the earthquake was felt at night. Look at that, a bit after 2 a.m. It claims the magnitude of the earthquake was 5.8, which is slightly different than we were expecting. And the epicenter was in Romania, which we saw on that list. So with this statement, we can safely and correctly answer the first question: what was the magnitude of the earthquake? The magnitude of the earthquake was 5.8. Let's move on to the second one, the geolocation. This was a bit hard, I'm sorry. Okay, so the second question asks, what are the coordinates of where the camera was likely located in order to record this scene? So as I've said, you have to geolocate this and find where this camera was likely placed. We already know that this was filmed in Chișinău, the capital of Moldova. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it properly, probably not. The problem is that, like in most capitals, there is no shortage of buildings and roads, and that is mostly what we see here, which is not very helpful, is it? So what now? You know how in OSINT and probably other fields of work as well, they tell you should never assume anything. Bullshit. Absolutely bullshit. Of course you need to make assumptions. You cannot write reports based on assumptions. That's a big no-no. Don't do that. But if you're stuck, sometimes assumptions are all you have left. It's a bit like those hard Sudokus where at some point there's a cell that could either contain one of two numbers. You don't know which one and you have exhausted all other logical steps. You need to pick something and go with it. If you're right, you will solve the puzzle. If you're wrong, you need to go back and change it. This is similar to what we will do in order to find the coordinates of this footage. We're going to look at some of the features on the video and make assumptions. On one of my assumptions, I was correct. And that led me to this exact location. So let's look at this scene. There's a few interesting buildings around here, right? And sometimes interesting buildings have names. If we guess at least what one of the buildings is, we can search for it. When I was trying to locate this footage, I looked at this very tall building there and assumed it was a hotel. Spoiler alert, it was not a hotel. I was wrong, but that's fine. I moved on and I made another assumption and the next one was correct. If you did not manage to answer this question and want to give it another go at finding the coordinates, I will give you a hint and tell you which was the building that led me here. It was this one, this building here. Okay, last chance to pause the video. Now I'm just going to tell you how I did it. So I looked at this building and I made a lot of assumptions. I'm going to explain more or less what I saw here and hopefully you will make the same assumption as I made. Let's start with the height. This is just one floor and it has a flat roof. There's some parking space in the front, but it's empty. You have some sign here or a banner of some sort, perhaps one as well there, maybe some flags here or something. But the most important thing is the amount of light. There is a lot of light. Light is coming from the outside. You can see here some lights at the top and it's coming from the inside. This tells me that the front of the building is likely made of glass and for some reason the lights are on at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. The reason to have big glass windows is to make sure people can see inside. So this is likely a shop. The lights are on at night because you want people to be able to see the product. We can also assume that whatever this shop has inside is worth a lot of money. Maintaining all of these lights on all throughout the night cannot be cheap. It also tells me that they are selling something big, something that people just driving past would be able to see from their vehicles, because during the night you won't be having people strolling around the streets looking to buy something. So at 2 a.m. the drivers are their target, their prospective buyers. If we now put all this information combined, you will hopefully get to the same conclusion as I did, that this is a car dealership. They are selling cars inside, not at 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. they're just advertising cars. So now, with the assumption that this is a car dealership, let's just Google that. That's easy enough. First thing we need to do is to translate, because it's very likely that they are not using English there. They're using Romanian, because in Moldova they speak Romanian. So let's type car dealership. That's the one. Yep. So let's copy this and let's go back to our map and just paste that. And here we go. Hopefully it will give us a list of car dealerships. So first thing we notice is that there are a lot of them. And in fact, if you start zooming in and click it again, you'll get even more. Unfortunately, that happens. So we need to narrow down this a bit, just a bit. So let's go back again to our video and see what other details we can see. We have a road that doesn't feel like it's straight. There's a slight curve there. We can see, however, that this is a very big road. There are a total of 6 lanes here. So this is quite wide, and it's not going to be a road in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be one of the big main ones that is not straight. At this point, I just put my layer on and I just start looking at the area. You can see some of them are definitely not our target. You can see here, this road is not big enough. This seems to be just 2 lanes. So all of this we can just ignore. It's not going to be there. Here as well, this is not close enough to the road, perhaps this one, but look at that. All these trees, definitely not. We're not looking at that many trees. There's not much vegetation there. There is some here, but it's in between buildings. So not like this one, which is a massive stretch of green forestry area. So let's keep on zooming out and zooming in. I did this a lot, honestly. That was it. There was a lot of zooming in, zooming out, just to check the area of each of them. So it's quite fast. You just do that and just go in and out until you figure out whether or not this matches. It does not match. This is not the correct one. And I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to go to the correct one, which is this one here. So you can see how it was not a straight road. It was a bit of a curve there. And you may be able to see here as well, this little interesting pyramid kind of structure, which is on top of that and very helpfully visible from satellite imagery. And if you zoom out a bit, you'll find that what I thought was a hotel is in fact a shopping mall. It's called Atrium. And if we click there, let's see, street view perhaps, this one. And here we go. This is the building. Let's put it side by side. You can see this is the building, this is the building, is the same one. Let's go back and see now the rest of the area as well. So we have located there you go, the place that we correctly assumed was a car dealership, which apparently is a Volvo car service. So they are indeed selling vehicles there. And in fact, in the video you can see, let me go and put this side by side. You can see this sign there. Look at that. That is this here. It's there at the entrance on this section, and you enter that, and there you go. It apparently says Volvo. Obviously we can see it at the beginning, and as expected, there's lots of glass in the front, and they're selling very expensive items. So there you go, very nice cars. Look at all the lights inside that were clearly still on at 2 a.m. So now the only thing we need to do is to find out where the camera was located, because that is our question. And for that, I'm going to right click to get the coordinates. Here we go, we have the coordinates. I'm going to go to Google Earth Pro. You don't have to, I just like it. I mean, I love this thing, so why not? I just go for that every time I can. So here we go to the capital of Moldova. So there you go. We have the building here that we know is called Atrium, and it's a shopping mall. We have the pyramid kind of thing. We have here the car dealership. So let's rotate this camera so we're facing in the correct direction. So we will be watching it like this. The camera was more or less facing there. So let me put the windows side by side. Okay, here we go. Unfortunately, this does not have 3D, so this is it. And now you can recognize a few very interesting things. So you can see here, this is our residential building. Here we go, in front of us. We have again the car dealership on this section there, and this area that has nothing, just vegetation. And then we have this interesting building with a pyramid structure at the top, and we have there the shopping mall. So where would the camera be? The camera would be placed at the top of this building. If you go back to Google Maps, sorry, just jumping around a bit. Here we go. Let's see. This building is called the V Continental Business Center, and I have found something very interesting. If you get the Pegman, you'll see the inside of the building that, lo and behold, is the same residential building that was on our footage. Again, let me put the windows side by side, and here we go again. You can see this is an absolutely perfect match. Look at that, all the details are there. This is from inside the building, so the V Continental Business Center, and now we know that this was very likely where the CCTV camera was placed. In fact, you can see it is slightly above this residential building, so it is very likely that the camera was outside, right at the top of this building. So this would be the coordinates, more or less, that we're looking for in order to answer the second question, which was, what are the coordinates of where the camera was likely located in order to record the scene? So overall, with this exercise, we could see the various levels of data verification. On the first question, we could find the possible magnitude of this earthquake by a process of elimination of locations that suffered an earthquake on this specific date, but that would be considered unverified data. We then did a partial verification of the location by finding the original video with the name of the city and by checking the official information on a Moldovan government website. This can be added to a report as long as it's worded in a way to make it clear we did not fully verify the information. At the end, we did find the exact coordinates of this footage. This was a full verification. We know that this city suffered an earthquake. The original video named the city, we geolocated it, and the date and time on the footage, as we see here, matches what the Moldovan government and many other websites claimed. This can now be added to a report because it's a great piece of evidence. There is nothing left to verify. We covered all our bases. And that is it. That is how you answer the two questions. What was the magnitude of the earthquake? It was officially 5.8. What are the coordinates of where the camera was likely located in order to record the scene? The coordinates were this, something along those lines, and that is it. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a few things. Data verification is great, is very fun, and it's one of the most important things in OSINT. You cannot use it if you cannot verify it. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.